Yeah, excited about this this week and this opportunity. Been already very pleased with how the guys have approached this week, and so playing a good football team who has played very well in their stadium. So it's going to be a big challenge for us. So, questions? All right, it's going to be a short one this week. All right, here we go.
I mean, it's your first year, but ODU has never beaten Middle Tennessee. Did you even know that? And does it
Not till right now. Well, I mean, no, I didn't. College football is like I've tried to say, every year is a new team and those sort of things. So I think that some of those, this team always beats this team, or this team, has never. I think that those things are really, really overblown and overrated. And you watch college football. With these earlier games, I was blessed to be able to watch some college football after our game, and you see so many stats like over the last 9 years. They've ran for this many yards against this. It's like, I mean, they're on like their fourth offensive coordinator, fourth defensive coordinator. Like, what does that have anything to do with anything? So I just think it's some of those stats are just they're fun to talk about and those sort of things. But as a coach and a player, you have no mind of it.
I'm sure you're thrilled about the bowl questions that are to come. But I guess the question is, do you have to, in maintaining that 1-0 culture, that 1-0 mentality, do you have to try a little harder? I guess try is not the right word, but do you have to kind of enforce it a little more? Do you have to reinforce it a little more, given that you guys are, in the hunt to make the postseason?
I mean, I just think that people bring it up to our kids more. So it's one thing for us we just got to keep talking about 1-0 because that's what works for us. And, that may not work for everybody else. I mean, there's some people who maybe they need those bigger long-term goals to talk about for their team to prepare. But for us, the 1-0 mentality is good. And I meant what I said after the game, that our motivation is being able to get that feeling in the locker room after a game every week. I mean, that's the greatest motivation I can think of. I mean, it's anything else is those external factors. They just don't last long enough. But being able to celebrate with the guys that you put that much work in, that's long term. That's something that you can replicate, and that's something that you're going to try to get again and again and again. So, yeah, I mean, we're going to continue to do that. I think that our players have bought in on that and seen that that's our avenue of success, and so we're going to keep driving down it.
Ricky, how long does it take to write 22 individual congratulations letters to women's soccer players? And I mean, you have a lot of demands on your time. That must have taken an hour or two.
I don't know how long it took me. I was watching. I was able to multitask and watch some tape while I was doing it, but I thought it was important because I feel like the members of that team and the members of that coaching staff had worked really, really hard for that, and they'd worked a long time for that. It doesn't take me as long because my handwriting sucks. I don't even know if they can read it. Like I send stuff to people, and I'm like, this, I put some of them. I put a lot of thought into, and all those sort of things, and make sure I have the right syntax and all that sort of stuff. And then I realized that only Tristan can read my writing. And Mark Dupuis also has he kind of has a knack for being able to read it too, because of when he was a GA for as long as he was with us. But those are the only two people on the planet who can read my writing. So I write letters to recruits. I wrote them to the women's soccer program, and I started, as soon as I got done, I was like, they're not even know. I include my own, a lot of recruiting things. I include my card just so that I at least get the credit for writing it, so they know at least who it's from. Because my handwriting is as bad as it can possibly be, which is really a shame, since my mother-in-law was an elementary school teacher. My sister is a principal. It's really not a great deal on that end of it. I like to say that it shows a sign of intelligence, because my mom always says that when she worked in the hospital, the doctors have really bad handwriting. But I think it's probably, I actually get upset with myself because I actually think it's a sign of arrogance over intelligence, because it's like write the letter so that people can read it, and I don't even use cursive. I use all print, and it's all capitalized, and it looks a little bit like a sociopath is writing it, but it's all right. We'll get through. I'd probably have a better time being able to cut out the things and tape it to it. They'd probably be able to read it better.
Like a ransom letter?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They really appreciated it.
I did think that they deserved it, and I will tell you one thing that happened. I wasn't going to say anything, but we had like 44 players watching that game on Friday night. They had a chance to watch college football or whatever, and they were watching that game, and they were cheering hard for them. We always have what we call snack when they come in after, and they're doing that sort of thing. So they were watching that game, and they were cheering hard, for their peers. And they know how hard those young women work. You know what I mean? And so I don't think all of them understand soccer. I certainly don't, beyond any FIFA that I've played, but I think that they know how hard they work and all the time and effort they put in, and I certainly know how much time and effort those coaches have put in to take that program from where it was 8 years ago and put it now is impressive.
You talked about every team being new. This team, I guess you could say, was especially new with the way last non-season went. Are you surprised at the evolution of this team from total unknown to now this winning streak?
I'm not surprised with the evolution because I've seen us buy into practice, and I've seen us understand as a program how important fundamentals are, practice, the daily grind is, and I think that that's the thing that I've been able to see over and over and over again. And so that watching an entire program embrace that usually shows you that you're going to get some improvement throughout the year and start playing your best football as the season progresses, because you keep getting better, as the season progresses. I don't really believe, and I've never understood the whole, have people peaking at the right time. Oh, they got to peak. And it's like, and there's no, if you believe in a process and you believe in everything like that, there is no peak. You just continue to grow, right? And you're just going to keep trying to get better and better and better and better. And it's not going to be a steady climb all the time, but you're going to just keep trying to get better. And you also understand that, each week you start over again and start that preparation again. So I've just been happy with the way the guys have really bought into that, because it's a hard thing to do. It's a hard thing to understand that, hey, I can get better at the little details and the fundamentals throughout this year and make myself a better football player each and every week.
What's your team's biggest focus dealing with Middle Tennessee?
Well, I mean, they've done a really good job in the turnover margin. I mean, they've created an inordinate amount of turnovers, especially at home. And they create a lot of chaos on defense with TFLs and things like that. But then on the flip side, they've protected the football very well, minus one game. So, that's going to be a big factor in the game. We need to do a better job of protecting the ball. We've started to take it away at a higher clip. And we need to continue that, but ending each series in a kick is going to be important for us. And so the turnover margin, that battle is going to be a key focus in this game.
What do you think's led to all the blocked kicks this year?
Well, we spend a lot of time coaching it. We spend a lot of time on coaching the fundamentals of it, which is why our guys, I think, are more surprised when they're free, when they don't block it. How there was a glitch in the matrix, how Jason Henderson didn't block the first one. I mean, it literally goes through his body. I mean, if you were playing Madden on that clip, you might have broke the controller, because you would have said there was a glitch in the game, because it went went through them. So that was unbelievable. And then, Taj L, who has turned into be a very good football player for us at a young age and a great player on special teams, didn't quite have the fundamentals he needed to have on one of those blocks on a punt, or else we would have had one there too. And he knows that, and he was more upset with himself for that than anything. And he came off the field. He knew exactly what he did wrong. He used the wording that we use and those sort of things. And so we've gone into this year saying we're going to be aggressive and trying to block kicks, and then in terms of that we use a lot of fundamentals and our drill work in order to make sure that we get that done.
Coach, I think your guys are second in the conference in field goals attempted. Is that a testament of wanting to do better in the red zone, or is that just more, hey, we have a good field goal kicker, so we want to use him when we can?
No, I love Nick, and I am a huge fan of Ethan, but I hope we never use Ethan, and I hope we only use Nick for PATs. We got to do a better job of scoring touchdowns in the red zone. And there's some execution pieces that we've got to take care of and those sort of things. But that's what it is. It's not about trying harder. It's not about making a play. It's not about doing anything superhuman. It's about executing the play that's in front of you and making sure that you do that. So we've got to do a better job there. Nick's done a nice job of banging them through and those sort of things. But we've got to score touchdowns in order to continue to take steps.
Is it just me, or has Ethan suddenly become a weapon?
He certainly punted the ball well in the last couple games. He's been more consistent. His fundamentals have gotten better. And what we've all got to remember is, that Wake Forest punt, that first punt in Wake Forest was the first time he'd ever punted a football in a live football game before, where people are actually going to hit him, if something went wrong. So for us to think that wasn't a factor, it was. It's different. So yeah, he's done a nice job. Our coverage has done an excellent job. Our bullets, Javon Harvey and Lamarion James have done it. What a great job those guys have done. Our long snapper has gotten down there and made some plays, Morty. Our protection has been excellent. So that unit has really taken some huge strides throughout this season.
I think you say that the ultimate motivation is to relive that feeling in the locker room. But is it fun to be chasing something, just adding on top of what's already there? Is it fun to be chasing something?
We're always chasing something. You're chasing, like I said, you're chasing that feeling each and every week, and that's the fun thing for me. And you're chasing putting together a full 60-minute game, which I still don't think that we've done yet. On all three phases of the game. So I think you're chasing those things so often that that's the fun part. That's what makes you keep coming back to the game of football. Just it's a little bit like golf. You hit that perfect golf shot, and it doesn't matter that your other 112 shots stink. You hit that perfect one, and you want to get that feeling over and over and over again. And it's the same thing in football. You have those perfect plays, even if no one else notices it. You as a player do. You took the perfect drop. You had the perfect break. And even if the ball, nothing else happened, you felt that. You felt what it felt like. You struck your key perfect as a 3 technique, or you came off the ball and with the perfect, first and second step as an offensive lineman. You read a play perfectly as a quarterback. Maybe it's only a 5-yard completion, but man, it was perfect. And those are the things that you just try. You want that feeling over and over and over again. That's the addictive part of football in particular, but certainly in sports in general.
All that being said, you've had a number of close losses that maybe you should have won. Is it tempting to think about what might have been?
No, the 1-0 mentality is that too, right? Letting those go. And I think that's the really key part. You can't just live by it when you're winning. Hey, 1-0, and then we won. It's got to be all the time. And so you've got to you've got to let those things go. It's even play to play. You know, there's going to be a couple plays where you're going to let up a big one. You're going to, you're going to let up a sack. You're going to let up a completion. You're going to miss a hole. That doesn't mean you don't learn from those things, but it means you can't let it affect you and try to get that back. What people have a tendency to do is when I make a mistake, I feel like I let down my teammates and I want to get it back for them. And when you try to make a play and get something back, that's when you make an even bigger mistake. And so, those are the things where that's why the 1-0 mentality works. It's not just for wins and losses and those sort of things. It's also from play to play to play to play, and from drill to drill and day to day even. I want our guys to go 1-0 today and have the best academic day they possibly can, which will allow them to maybe have a little bit less on their plate throughout the week and be able to concentrate a little bit more on being prepared for the game. So it's about it's in everything we do, and it's why we talk about it so much.
Have you made plans for the team for Thanksgiving, other than talking about bowl eligibility afterwards?
It's funny. We are going to start. That's something we have to do because it's people's families and things like that. Guys will be able to go over to some coaches' houses and things like that. I know there's other people who families are going to cook. I know JoJo. I've heard his mom is a heck of a cook, and she lays down a pretty good Thanksgiving spread at their house. So there's some guys will go over to their teammates' houses. There'll be other guys that'll go over to some coaches' houses and things like that. But we will make sure that everybody, and then some guys will go home, right? I mean, that's the beauty of being able to have as many local players as we have. But we're going to make sure that every single person has a place to go.
Will you guys practice Thanksgiving Day, or do you shift the schedule around a little bit?
Oh, no, we'll practice Thanksgiving Day. Yeah. I mean, that food can wait for practice.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I've practiced on Christmas before.
Sure.
I've practiced, every single thing. We got guys practicing on their birthdays every year. I mean, my wife's birthday does not exist because it's in September. That's not my fault. That's her parents' fault for having her in September. She knows that. But what she always says, and I think and I actually think it's working. It actually might be because my wife actually, if anybody's seen her, my wife somehow gets younger every year. I don't know how that works, but literally her actual physical features actually get younger. It's insane. And either I get older and lose my hair and get worse. But so she has to deal with that. But I get the pleasure of being her husband, but she always says that every year that we don't celebrate her birthday, it doesn't count. And so apparently it hasn't. I don't know. She made a deal somewhere along the line. So the rest of us got to figure that out.
Did you at least have your kids in the off season?
Yeah. And in fact, I tell you what, you want to know Jake Rahne? This is when you knew Jake Rahne was going to be both of them, really. Okay, so they were both fantastic. So Ryder was born during the Tuesday of spring practice, the last week of spring practice when we were at Kansas State. And we practiced Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so good for you, Ryder. You know what I mean? Nailed it. And the hospital was right across from the thing, so I literally didn't miss any work. I slept there. He was awesome. And then Jake was, in typical Jake fashion, he was going to make it a little bit more difficult. So we were going to have him the night before our bowl game in Birmingham. Instead, like he always does, he acts like he's going to make it hard on us, but he's a great kid. The day we had, the first night we had off, we practiced on the 22nd. My wife's water broke right there. Able to have him on the 23rd right during a little break right there, and December, and it was before a bowl game. It was awesome. So my kids are, that's when I knew they were going to be great football kids. They decided to come during absolutely perfect time. So, it was a good deal.
How old are they?
They are Jake turns 10 here coming up about a month. Ryder's 12. They're both going on about 24. They're very mature kids. Ryder's anybody who's seen Ryder, he's a big giant human, and he's only going to get bigger. He's supposed to be between 6'4" and 6'8", so I try to, wrestle with him every once in a while now because I know that's going to go away very soon. And then Jake won't quite be that big. I think he's going to be bigger than people anticipate, but he's a really good hockey player. In fact, his whole hockey team was at the game and came on the field after the game, which was a cool deal. And so proud of both of them. They've both were captains of their recent teams and things like that, which is probably one of my most proud things. Being able for them to be captain was pretty cool.
Did you win the bowl game after Jake was born?
No, we didn't. No, it actually went really bad. Yeah, it went poorly, but that's all right. We bounced back the rest of them. But no, we did not do that. We did not do that. That was our first year at Vanderbilt, and we did not do that. But I think the Vanderbilt crowd was okay because just going to a bowl game for them was quite the experience. But yeah, no, we didn't. He's one of those kids who gets kind of. He's one of those like Christmas babies, right? But my wife, he actually makes out like a bandit because my wife is so nervous about it that he gets, holy moly. I think we have our own gross domestic product just based on his gifts, during that thing. So he certainly makes out pretty well.
Anything else, Coach?
One last quick
Yep.
one, sort of off topic.
The rest of this stuff's been on topic.
I think David asked one. Some of your kids have been going out to help feed the homeless, and have you talked to them? What are they getting out of that? What kind of lessons are they learning about life?
I think the thing that I haven't necessarily talked to them about it. I don't believe in forcing community service on anybody. Because that's not what it's supposed to be about. But our team does a great job of participating in community service all the time. We don't always make a big deal out of it, and I probably should. I probably should do a better job of showing when our guys are doing things like that. Something I need to get better at. But our guys, they really want to help. It's something that's important to them. They've looked for those opportunities, and COVID has taken away some of those just because there's been less of that available than maybe we normally have. But, we're going to continue to do those sort of things, help out the community. We have, the 757 is an awesome place, and we know there's people in this community that need help, and our guys want to provide that. So we're going to continue to do that. And I've been proud of our guys because they've really helped to, organize it. And do those sort of things, and it's not been something where I've had to say, hey, you're going. We've had people sign up, and it's been overflow of guys instead of us looking for people.
What players have spearheaded that?
Our older guys, Nick Rice does a tremendous job of spearheading that. B.R. Hatcher does as well. Our older guys do, but our young guys ask about it and want it. But our older guys kind of know the ropes of how to get it done a little bit better. So our captains have done a good job with that.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Nathan, you want to start us off with questions for JoJo?
Sure thing. We asked Coach about going into a game. This, but Old Dominion's never beaten Middle Tennessee. Does that add anything to it? Do you guys think about that at all?
I don't think it really comes up that much. I really just take it as us seeing another opponent that we have to face this week. Our 1-0 mentality kind of takes control of all of that, just taking it one day at a time, every game.
And I understand it's out there that you guys are 2 wins away from bowl eligibility, and I know to talk about 2 games cuts against the 1-0 mentality.
Yeah.
But does that sort of thing ever come up? Is there a feeling around the locker room that you guys are chasing something at all?
It's definitely motivating, but as soon as you start to look ahead, that's when the picture kind of gets blurry. So I think that's why our biggest thing is just focusing on this middle 10 game, and then whatever comes after that, we have to take advantage of.
You guys always bought into the 1-0 mentality. How much easier is that now that you're seeing everything pay off? That you know there's wins that are coming as a result of all your preparation and the mindset.
Honestly, even when we were kind of down, I don't think our team ever got away from the 1-0 mentality. We still saw the progress that was coming after those games, and we just knew if we just stayed with that mentality, we would still be on the right track.
Blake said after rushing for his 6th game in a row with more than 100 yards, he says, "I'm running for my roommates because I want them to go to a bowl game."
Yeah, we do talk about it a little bit. Yeah, me and Blake, Jordan, and DJ, we all have a great relationship, and it's something that we push for, but we also just know that we just got to take it one game at a time, and if we do that, things should fall into place.
What do you think about Blake saying, "I'm running for my roommates"?
Oh yeah, it means a lot to me for sure. Especially this being my last season. Don't know what I'm doing after this season with football, but just to have that relationship, that know he's doing that for us, and then just doing it for the whole team. It means a lot for sure.
Tell us about Jordan. What kind of roommate is he?
Jordan's probably one of the best roommates you can have because he's clean. He doesn't really do much. He stays in the room. He plays 2K. Does his work, and just someone you can go and talk to whenever you're down. Really, you know, he's a great person and friend to have on and off the field for sure.
Does he have any bad habits as a roommate?
If Jordan did have a bad habit, I would say I would want Jordan to come out with us a little bit more. He's a big homebody, so during the weekend you could definitely for sure know that Jordan will be staying inside, probably playing a game or just watching a movie or something.
Who does the cooking in the house?
Jordan and Blake do the most cooking. DJ does a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't been on my chef side this semester as much as I used to be. Since this is my last semester, I've been using my flex and my meal swipes to the fullest this semester for sure.
When you look back on this team in fall camp where you didn't know what in the world you had, is it surprising to you at all how far you guys have come?
I wouldn't say it was surprising at all. Honestly, I knew our team was a team full of fighters, and that regardless of the ups and downs, we were still going to stay together. And no, I wouldn't say it was surprising at all.
Anything else for JoJo? All right, thank you, JoJo.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, JJ.
Mark, why don't you start us off with Ali?
Sure.
Ali, that catch you had in the red zone, what kind of goes through your mind in that split second as you're, timing your leap and trying to go up in coverage and make a grab like that?
Honestly, all I'm thinking about is the ball. I know a big emphasis we have for our offense and defense, the entire team, is ball security. So I know when the ball is coming my way, I try and make sure it's mine. Nobody else can get to it. So once my hands grab it, I'm holding on for dear life. That's pretty much all I'm thinking about.
Is that? I mean, I would guess those are kind of hard to practice, just based on the nature of everything. Is it something you get to work on at all very much, or making grabs like that?
Yeah, we have a lot of good DBs on our team, and it forces us to make a lot more contested catches. So we get more than you think. We get a lot more contested catches in practice, and a lot of the catches you see in the game, we make a lot of those in practice.
Has this experience turned into what you hoped it would be when you came here?
Even better, I would say. The love I'm receiving from my teammates, the coaches, I love the atmosphere. Like, anytime somebody comes on a visit or asks me, like, how do I like it here, I love it. Like, I love my teammates, love the program, I love my coaches. It's just a place that I'm happy at, and that was a big emphasis when I entered the transfer portal. I just wanted to find somewhere that could feel like home, and I would feel like myself in.
It doesn't have the bells and whistles of where you came from. Does that matter?
But that doesn't really matter. What matters is just having a team who can count on you, who has your back, whether we're down, whether we're up, and teammates that will fight for you. That's what matters the most.
How do you think practice has sort of evolved through this winning streak? Has it become more intense? Do you guys focus harder? Do you have more fun? How is practice sort of, or is it the same that it's always been?
I would say we always have fun in practice, but we're definitely going at it way harder with a better approach. Just way more locked in so we can keep this streak going and keep our season alive and keep our hope going.
Not that you necessarily had any doubt in the process here, but all these wins, how much faith does that give you that things are going the right way?
It gives us a lot of faith seeing more wins coming in, but just like everybody else says, we try and keep that 1-0 mentality, so we can just focus on this next game, get through this next game, and we'll see where everything goes.
Do the words bowl game ever come up in conversation with anybody? I mean,
yeah, a little bit, but we have to get through this game first. It would definitely be exciting, especially to see a lot of the older guys go. I went last year. It wasn't the same experience everybody gets because of COVID. We only went the day of the game. But I would definitely love to see a lot of the seniors go, get that experience, and the younger guys. That'll be a great experience for the team.
Go ahead, Jim.
Coach was talking about how the 1-0 translates not only to the next game, but to past games in terms of putting losses behind you. Has it ever been tempting to think about how great this season could have been had you won some of those close ones?
Yeah. Sometimes when I talk with my family or a few other teammates, we'd be like, if we'd got this one, it would have been a lot less weight off our shoulders. But it's just something that we can't control anymore. We just focus on the things that we can control, which would be how we approach this week in Middle Tennessee, how we come into practice, how we go to meetings, how we recover ourselves, how we prepare for this game, and then how we go play this weekend.
I know this may not apply to you personally, but Old Dominion is a program that's never beaten Middle Tennessee. Does that add anything to it at all?
I actually didn't know that, but we'll see how it goes this weekend. We're aiming to make that a different story.
Crowd Saturday wasn't particularly huge, but I was down on the field the last few minutes. It was loud. Did that help you? Did it help you guys?
Yeah. Anytime we have anybody supporting us, that helps us. It gives us another level of confidence, morale. It just feels good to have an outside source supporting you.
Anything else for Ali? All right.
Thank
you, Ali.
Thanks, man.
Thank y'all.
Harry, why don't you start us off with Nick?
Let's start with the obligatory question everyone's asked. Bowl game.
Want to know, just like everybody else. I mean, all I'm focused on is Middle Tennessee and getting this win that's right in front of me.
Middle is a young team, and they played kind of a similar schedule to you guys. They've had a tough schedule with some similar results. They've won 3 out of 4, I think. Talk a little bit about some of the, what you see in them.
I think they're a good football team. They've beaten some good football teams, and I also think we're a good football team. And I know what it's like to lose close games, and I know how that is. But I'm sure they're focused on us just like we're focused on them, and it's going to be a good game.
They're 4-0 down there. They're like two different teams at home and on the road when you look at their record. Mm-hmm. Is there something, I don't know if you've played down there, but is there something, special about their environment or anything like that you know of?
I have played there, and I don't remember anything in particular that was special about it, like that would make you think like this is a serious home field advantage. But I know from personal experience, being at home is definitely different. Like not having to travel, things like that. But no, nothing in particular.
Coach said Saturday night that this is the most underrated, I think he said this is the most underrated offensive line in college football.
You talking about us?
Yes.
Yeah, I think we're, well, I know we're a great group, and I love the guys that I get to play with every day. We're very tight-knit, and it's been awesome, man. Going back to the off-season, just being able to work out for months and months and months with those guys, and seeing our hard work come to, like, being able to reap those benefits with wins now is awesome, and I'm excited for this next game in front of us.
I asked you the same question I asked Ali. The crowd wasn't big, but it was loud. Did you guys hear it, especially when you were running off the field?
100%, yeah. No matter how big the crowd is, it's always nice to have Old Dominion fans there cheering for us. And, I mean, honestly, sometimes, even if it's not packed out, I think it's loud down on the field. And I'm like, especially on third downs, I think our fans do a great job of getting loud, and it's always fun.
You guys don't have any stats that anybody knows about, but you see what Blake is doing. How big a source of pride is that for a lineman?
Huge. I mean, I'm super tight with Blake, and being able to see my guy go for 100 yards multiple weeks in a row is awesome. And that's somewhere where an offensive lineman can, like, that's a nice source of pride for us because, I mean, like you said, we don't have any stats. So just being able to run for a ton of yards is awesome.
Tell us about Blake as a person. He's a man of few words behind the microphone. He'll usually answer a question with one sentence. So.
Yeah.
Is he more talkative behind the scenes?
Yeah, I wouldn't say he's quite a one-sentence guy off the mic, but he's definitely a character. He's fun to be around, great dude, and I'm glad to see him shine right now.
What makes him so effective?
He's slippery, man. He's quick, and he trusts us. He knows where he's supposed to fit, and sometimes you think that there's not going to be something there, but he just trusts us, and he knows that it's going to be there when it needs to be there.
You mentioned working against each other in the preseason. When you think about this team back then and what it's evolved into now, how mind-blowing is that?
I'm honestly not very mind-blown, to be honest. Back even when our season got canceled, I knew exactly like the potential that we had, and it's just really nice to see it like come to fruition and being able to reap those benefits now because we've been putting in the work for so long, and I know where this team can go, and it's just promising to see it happening before my eyes.
Anything else for Nick?
One more. I think Ali said sometimes he's looked back at close games and thought how great this season could have been. Do you ever do that? Do you put them behind you?
Definitely put them behind me. Come in on Sundays, watch the tape, try to wipe my hands clean of it, and I mean, once the game's over, the clock strikes 0. I mean, I can't go back and change anything I did, and you just got to embody that 1-0 mentality, and that goes down to even more than just a game, like play by play. Like you give up a sack, you got to move on to the next play. You got to pass protect the same guy the next play, and you just got to focus on what you have right in front of you.
Do you actually think when you're walking around in your life, do you actually think about 1-0? Like
100%, especially when it comes to football. Like I'll be in practice, I'll be in the game. Like if something goes wrong, and you keep on thinking about that, it's just gonna like just fester and build and build and build, and only bad things can come from that. So washing your hands of it and putting it behind you is the best thing you can do if you want to focus on what you got next and be great.
I'm talking about like in the classroom, stuff like that.
Sometimes I'll joke about it. Like if I got like a test coming up, I'm like, gotta go 1-0 on this test, gotta get right, and. Yeah, I would say that I do it sometimes, but not like in every single thing I do. I'm not saying 1-0 all day.
So you're not quite a robot?
Nah, almost.
Anything else for the robot? I mean, Nick? All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, man.